Lakers Nation. Here's the headline you woke up to and probably argued about for hours. In late June, LeBron James exercised his player option for roughly $52.5 million for next season. The number hit the timeline, and a chunk of fans saw red. They wanted a discount. They wanted flexibility. They wanted symbolism. But here's the snapback by the first 12 seconds. While the outrage boiled, rival front offices read the moment as opportunity, and the noise around outside interest grew louder, not quieter. Let's be clear about why the reaction was so emotional. It's not just a dollar figure on a spreadsheet. It's the memory of a first-round exit, the bruises from a season that felt choppy, and the fear that the roster won't be deep or dynamic enough when the game slows down in April. Fans romanticize the idea that a pay cut equals a parade. But in the second apron era, a symbolic shave doesn't unlock magic tools. The new rules punish sloppy planning, restrict trades, and squeeze creativity no matter how noble the headline looks. Still, the anger makes sense at a human level. You see a star at 40, you see the final chapters coming into focus, and you don't want to waste a single year. People want signals that every decision tilts toward winning. In that context, take less becomes a shorthand for leadership, sacrifice, and urgency. But basketball is a problem set, not a fairy tale. The right answer lives in the details of how you build the 9th and 10th spots in the rotation, how you manage minutes, and how you align scheme with personnel. Let's talk about those details. So, where does that leave the Lakers today? It puts a spotlight on coherence. Can this group defend the nail and the corners without collapsing the paint? Do the wings have enough size to survive 7 games against elite jumbo creators? Can the second unit manufacture clean looks while LeBron sits? Or is it a turnover-ridden roller coaster? Those questions decide a season long before a contract tweet trends. And the answers are built by scouting, development, and 5-man chemistry more than by a single symbolic discount. But there's a twist fans can't ignore. Outside interest isn't theater. Rival teams still believe LeBron is a series tilter if the context is right. The fact that contenders keep taking the temperature tells you the league's market sees a window that fandom fear sometimes pretends is closed. Interest functions as a pressure meter. It reminds ownership and the front office that the rest of the league will not wait politely while you tinker. It also reframes the story. If your rivals think he remains that level of force, the burden shifts to how you maximize him, not how you discount him. Control matters here too. LeBron's situation includes the power to shape outcomes. He opted in, he's anchored, and he can't be moved without his say. That clarity narrows the excuse set for everyone else. Let's zoom into the coaching piece. You win in the playoffs by hunting matchups and removing an opponent's favorite actions. That requires versatility, not just names. Do you have lineups that can switch, scram, and recover without foul trouble? Is there a small screening package that punishes switches with ghost cuts and relocate threes? Do you have a Spain pick-and-roll counter when teams top-lock your shooters? None of that depends on a summer discount debate. It depends on whether your 9 trusted playoff players fit together like a system, not a collage. We also have to talk about age and usage. At 40, even a generational outlier needs the right minute architecture. Staggering is not a trendy word. It's a lifeline. That means second unit creation that lowers live ball turnovers, wings who sprint to corners to open the slot, and a big who screens with force and short rolls with purpose instead of drifting. It means finding possessions where LeBron can be a finisher, not the creator. So, he arrives at winning time with pop left in the legs. Smart teams map that out by Halloween, not by the All-Star break. Now, about the pay cut equals banner myth. History is mixed. Some legends took less and were surrounded by elite infrastructure that made the discount look brilliant. Others took every dollar and still contended because their organizations drafted well, developed role players, and struck at the right trade windows. The through line isn't sacrifice, it's alignment. When ownership, front office, coaching, and stars pull in the same direction, the cap sheet looks like a plan. When they don't, every missed rotation becomes a referendum on money. Consider the defensive identity piece. The Lakers' most sustainable path involves making ball handlers see bodies early, shrinking driving lanes, and trusting backside rotations. That requires wings with length and discipline, guards who fight over screens without fouling, and bigs who can show and recover. If you can do those things, your offense has more margin to survive cold nights. If you can't, you spend every fourth quarter negotiating with luck. Contracts don't rotate on defense. Players do. The budget conversation fades when the film looks connected. The offensive piece is just as specific. You need shooting? Yes. But more important is shooting that moves. Spot-up specialists who freeze when defenses switch don't survive May. You want cutters who occupy weak side defenders, handoff hubs who can flip the angle without telegraphing, and guards who keep a live dribble without getting stuck at the nail. You want actions that also function as rest. Sets where LeBron can lift, screen, and slip into easy touches instead of pounding the air out of the ball for 30 minutes. Emotionally, it's easy to aim all frustration at the biggest number on the roster. But that's not where seasons get lost. Seasons get lost when the 11th man plays rotation minutes because roles weren't defined. Seasons get lost when a coach can't find a 5 that both defends and scores for more than 4 straight minutes. Stars decide ceilings, infrastructure decides floors. Champions have both. There's also the optics game. And in Los Angeles, optics never sleep. Fans wanted a chest-thumping announcement, a victory lap, an immediate framing that turned a contract choice into momentum. The longer the vacuum, the more rumor ecosystems thrive. The lesson isn't win Twitter for a day, it's own your timeline. When you have clarity on your star, you present clarity in your plan. You don't let drift define you. Narratives congeal fast in this market. Fill them with substance. Let's pivot to the calendar because the calendar tells the truth. Training camp arrives fast. Preseason is where we should see guard-to-guard screening wrinkles, better timing on Spain actions, and clearer roles for the second unit. By Thanksgiving, defensive rating trends separate noise from signal. By New Year's, your closing 5 has to be real, not theoretical. And February's deadline is not for saving face. It's for surgical improvement if your self-scouting is honest. Those dates don't care about debates. They care about what 5 players you put on the floor together. So, what does urgency look like in practice? Maybe, but the most optimistic version still relies on the front office using those marginal tools perfectly, and on role players being the exact fit for the exact actions you run in May. If you don't trust the decision-making in the scouting and development pipeline, shaving a few million is a band-aid on a sprain. If you do trust it, you don't need symbolism to build a winner. You need execution. Legacy always lurks in these conversations. Every year at this stage is a referendum, fair or not. Some fans want a farewell tour wrapped in confetti. Others just want silence and wins. Both camps agree on one thing: don't waste the year. That's where the frustration comes from. People don't fear the cap table, they fear a shrugging plan. They fear sleepwalking into April with familiar weak points and new excuses. They fear seeing the same holes exposed again because everyone hoped they'd fix themselves. Here's the simple truth the market keeps whispering. The window isn't closed if the context is right. Rivals are still planning for LeBron. Coaches still adjust coverages because of him. If he's supported with lineups that defend without fouling and an offense that delivers clean catch-and-shoot looks, plus a few late-clock bailouts from others, he still flips possessions. That's not nostalgia. That's geometry. Gravity on a basketball court creates advantages that don't show up on the ledger line of a contract. What should fans watch beyond the noise? Watch who shares the floor with him in crunch time and how those players space. Watch whether the team can toggle between drop, switch, and hedge based on opponent, not dogma. Watch how many live ball turnovers the second unit commits and whether those numbers trend down across the first 20 games. Watch whether corner threes are generated by design or by accident. Those are tells. They're also choices, made every day in practice and reinforced on game nights. The verdict, stated clean, is this: LeBron's decision to opt in at full freight is rational and earned. He's still a high-leverage advantage creator when properly supported. The true villain of this story is not one player's paycheck. It's a combination of the new CBA squeeze and any organizational hesitation that lets small problems become fatal ones. If the Lakers stack coherent decisions, defense first, movement shooting second, turnover control third, the summer fury becomes a footnote by Christmas. If they don't, then the backlash will feel prophetic and the season will read like a self-inflicted post-mortem. So, let's frame the next steps with clarity, not wishful thinking. Define roles early so the ninth man minutes don't become auditions in January. Commit to lineups that protect the nail and the rim without conceding the corners. Add a second unit organizer who values the ball enough to get you into actions on time. Build rest into the offense so LeBron can be a finisher for pockets every night. And keep a clean cap table mindset even when temptation knocks in February. That framing is seductive and simple. It's also incomplete. Teams build banners with plans, not discounts. We're going to find out fast which path this season takes. The checkpoints are coming one after another, and the league is watching. Rivals are probing for weakness, sensing possibility, dialing phones just in case. The Lakers can answer with coherence and urgency, or they can drift and let the calendar make decisions for them. One path creates playoff margins, the other manufactures excuses. One path honors a legend's late prime, the other wastes it. The choice finally isn't about a number, it's about a plan. And that's where we leave it. The outrage cycle burns hot and quick. The film lasts forever. If this roster's tape shows 5 defenders in sync, shooters who move like threats, and a star protected by structure, the season's conversation will change on its own. If the tape shows the same old cracks, nothing you or I say about a pay cut will matter. The league has already told you it still believes in the player. Now the question is whether the organization believes enough to build like it, night after night, possession after possession, from October to April and beyond. So the next time the timeline spirals around that summer dollar sign, ask the only question that matters in this new era. Do the Lakers have a rotation and a scheme that scale to May? If the answer is yes, the price will feel like a bargain. If the answer is no, the receipt will be a familiar one, stamped in the same font as last spring. And everyone will know the difference wasn't the headline you argued about, it was the plan you never saw, or the one you did.